I am honestly so thrilled to have you here today because we're going to be looking at something deeply, deeply powerful. So let me just ask you right off the bat, have you ever felt completely stuck? You know that feeling, right? Like you're just standing still, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or maybe a giant neon sign from the universe telling you to finally start doing that thing you actually want to do. Well, if you're nodding your head right now, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking a really remarkable story that holds a secret about how we actually move forward when life just feels completely stalled out.
Have you ever received hope? And I don't mean money or some crazy stroke of luck. I mean just hope. It's kind of fascinating how sometimes something arrives at the absolute exact moment you need it most. One single message can literally change the trajectory of an entire life. This explainer is built around the story of a guy named Arthur. Arthur was a mail carrier. He was a guy who went to work every single day believing he was just delivering letters. But little did he know, he was about to receive something that would completely upend everything he believed about his own potential.
And the whole shebang begins with this mysterious, unstamped envelope. No return address, no specific recipient, just 4 handwritten words right on the front, to whoever needs this. This simple, unassuming little envelope is the central mystery and the real inciting incident of our parable today. It's the spark that ignites an incredible transformation. But hey, before we get to what was actually inside that envelope, we really need to understand who Arthur was and why he so desperately needed to find it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the predictable routine.
So, for nearly 15 years, Arthur was literally the picture of consistency. He was a good, super reliable worker who followed the exact same delivery route day after day, week after week. It was this rhythmic, incredibly safe existence. But as we see all the time in life, a routine that starts out as a comforting structure can slowly, almost imperceptibly turn into a cage. Arthur was constantly moving, walking miles every single day, but in his actual life, he wasn't really going anywhere. Year 1, he learns the same streets. Year 5, he knows those same houses inside and out. Year 15, he greets the exact same smiling faces. It was simple and it was reliable. People genuinely appreciated him. He knew exactly which families were waiting for packages and which houses got the weekly magazines. It was a comfortable life, absolutely. But let's look at the undercurrent here. Think about the cadence of that routine. Step, sort, deliver, repeat. Steady, even and totally predictable.
And you know what? That predictability masked a pretty profound internal ache. Arthur spent his days delivering other people's stories, but inside, he felt completely stuck. He actually had a deferred passion. Once upon a time, he dreamed of writing books. He wanted to be an author, to create worlds and share his own voice. But over the span of those 15 years, he quietly, almost without even realizing it, convinced himself that his dream had simply passed him by. He resigned himself to being the messenger for everyone else's life, rather than the author of his own. Which brings us to a major turning point. Part 2, the unexpected message. Near the very end of Arthur's daily route stood this abandoned cottage. The paint was faded, the garden was super overgrown, and out front was a mailbox that leaned just slightly to one side. Now, no mail had arrived there for years. It was always empty. But just out of pure habit, Arthur would check it every single morning. He'd reach in, feel nothing, and walk away. Until one cold autumn day, he reached inside that leaning, empty mailbox and froze. Inside was that mysterious envelope we talked about earlier. Curious, Arthur contacted his local post office, and since it didn't have a specific address, nobody had a clue where it came from. So, they gave him the green light to open it. Inside was a note that read, "If you're reading this, you're probably carrying more than letters." The note went on to suggest that the reader might be carrying disappointment, or regret, or dreams hidden away because they just seemed impossible. Arthur read it once, then he read it again. It felt strangely, piercingly personal. Honestly, it felt like an invisible stranger had looked directly into his soul.
So, the crucial point here, the real emotional anchor of our whole story today, is this line. A dream doesn't expire because time has passed. It only disappears when you stop believing in it. Just let those words sink in for a second. This single sentence sparked a massive realization within Arthur. He realized his dream of being a writer wasn't dead at all. It was just starving. It was starved of belief, starved of attention, and most importantly, starved of action. He hadn't run out of time. He had just stopped believing his time was actually worth using. Let's move to the next section and see how this builds. Part 3, the power of small steps. That very evening, Arthur went home, dug through an old closet, and beneath several dusty boxes, he unearthed an old notebook filled with his early short stories. He'd completely forgotten about them. But instead of packing them away again, he sat down at his kitchen table, and for the first time in nearly a decade, he picked up a pen and focused on one magic number, 30.
This isn't just some random, arbitrary number. This is the key to his entire transformation. Arthur made a promise to himself. He committed to dedicating exactly 30 minutes to his writing. Not 3 hours, not an entire weekend, just 30 focused minutes every single morning before he put on his uniform and went to work. That small daily commitment, that was the engine that started to pull him out of his 15-year rut. He created this really simple framework for himself, and it's incredibly practical for all of us. Step 1, write for 30 minutes before work. Step 2, absolutely no excuses. Step 3, never, ever skip a day. Now, some mornings the words flowed like water. Other mornings he struggled immensely just to get a single coherent sentence down on paper, but he stuck to the framework. And as weeks turned into months, that small, daily consistency really began to compound. His notebook filled up with characters and ideas. His confidence slowly returned, not from any external validation, but because he was finally keeping a promise to himself.
And then, the universe decided to test him. One rainy afternoon, Arthur accidentally left his precious notebook on a park bench. Panicking, he rushed right back, only to find a teenage girl reading one of his stories. Highly embarrassed, Arthur apologized, mumbled that it was just something he wrote. But the girl smiled at him and said, "You shouldn't hide stories like these." She told him his writing was beautiful. That unexpected, genuine praise from a total stranger, that was the final push he needed to stop hiding and finally share his work with the world.
And this brilliantly illustrates the beautiful contrast here. Emboldened by that girl's words, Arthur submitted a story to a local community magazine, and weeks later, it was published. The readers absolutely loved it. Think about it. For 15 years, Arthur was strictly delivering other people's stories. And now, he is receiving letters for his own. People started sending him letters detailing how his stories had encouraged them during difficult times. The irony and the absolute triumph of that is just beautiful.
Which brings us to the final and really the most important phase of this journey. Part 4, your turn to start.
You see, the beauty of finding hope isn't just in holding on to it. It's in what you actually do with it next. Months after his story was published, Arthur took a walk back to that abandoned cottage. He walked right up to the leaning mailbox, but this time, he wasn't checking for mail. He was delivering some. He brought a fresh envelope, and inside he left a new note for the next person who might come looking. It read, "To whoever needs this, don't give up on the dream that still whispers to you. One small step today is enough. Keep going." He created this amazing pay-it-forward loop, ensuring that hope would be there for whoever needed it next.
No, we need to extract the ultimate lesson from this. Success comes from action, not just hope. Life has a very strange, beautiful way of delivering hope to us. It might be through a stranger, a book, a letter, or, hey, maybe even an explainer like this one. But the crucial point to remember is that Arthur didn't become a successful writer simply because he found a magical letter. No way. He became successful strictly because he chose to act after receiving it. Hope is just the spark. Action is the fire.
So I'm turning the mirror directly back on you right now. What is your small step today? Seriously, maybe you've been waiting for the perfect sign, the perfect opportunity, the perfect alignment of the stars before you stop hiding your own dreams. Well, consider this. Maybe, just maybe, this very story is the sign you have been waiting for. Don't wait another year. Don't let the fear of failing keep your notebook hidden away in the closet. What is the one 30-minute promise you can make to yourself right now?
Because every meaningful journey begins with a single decision to start. If Arthur hadn't taken that 30-minute step, his stories would still be gathering dust. You don't need a mysterious letter in a mailbox to begin. The pen is already in your hand. What story are you going to write today? If this explainer gave you that spark, make sure to subscribe to Gravonix Stories for more and drop a comment right now saying, "I choose hope." Make one decision today that will completely change your tomorrow.